Now this is what I needed. A break from the shop and from the endless demands of customers. An opportunity to be pampered again. Why don't you join me for a manicure?
I'm not sure I see the point when we both wear gloves all day.
Ah, but that's the thing, Sylvia. We aren't doing this for other people. This is just for us. I asked for the Glitzkrieg treatment. Gold plating, embedded gemstones, and nails sharpened to a deadly point.
Wow, that is a lot.
Oh, this is nothing. Just wait until you see the pedicure I get tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You must really be rolling in dough.
If a life of uncertain fortunes has taught me anything, it's to spend it while you've got it. And I might not have it for long. I've got my eye on an upcoming pirate jamboree. The cover charge is extravagant, but stealing from other partygoers is encouraged, so who knows? I might come out ahead in the end.
Sounds pretty intense.
There's truly no party like a pirate party. They tend to be dark and claustrophobic, and the more bodies you cram on board, the hotter it gets. It's like a little slice of the underworld on the high seas. The only problem is I'll need someone to mind the shop while I'm away.
While you're away, how long is this party exactly?
Oh, it's impossible to predict. They can run for weeks.
Weeks? You can't just leave your business behind for that long. You'll lose all your customers. You'd have to start over from scratch. And don't you have an exam coming up? You're supposed to be getting your business license.
Maybe I've changed my mind. Maybe I'm not cut out for staying in one place.
Resisting temptation is a sign of strength. Consider this a test of your commitment.
A test, is it? I do have a bit of a competitive streak, you may have noticed.
Oh, I've noticed.
I suppose I've got something to prove, and I can best do it by maintaining and exceeding my current level of success. Even if it comes at the expense of a party or two. And since you're one of these customers I'm supposed to be bending over backward for, here you go. A coupon just for you.
Consider me a satisfied customer.
Think nothing of it. But I should head home now. I have responsibilities, after all.
You and me both. I know it isn't easy to put your life on hold for the sake of your career.
One could argue that my life's been on hold for some time. Besides, there will be other parties. Play your cards right, and maybe next time, I'll bring you along.
So, what's new? Uh-oh. Quinn's finally gone feral.
You're not far off.
You wanna talk about it?
Nope.
You do know how to shut down a conversation.
Oh, part of the hustle, Sylvia. Gotta know when to put your foot down.
I have hustle. I do.
Let's put your skills to use, shall we? Boxer's breath is terrible today. He's overdue for a teeth cleaning, and that's a two-person job.
It kind of looks like you got this.
Easy, right? Now you try. I'm just gonna need you to get the molars.
The molars? Like, all the way in the back.
I'll keep him calm. It'll be fine.
The teeth in the back aren't really molars. They're more like rear fangs.
Just get a move on, Sylvia. You won't hold this pose forever.
I was half expecting you to pull a prank.
Too risky. Once Boxer tastes human blood, he's hyper for hours. Plus, then he'd have rotting meat in his teeth, which smells, thereby defeating the whole purpose.
And also, you wouldn't want him to maim me.
Also that.
As distractions go, it was a good one, but not quite good enough. Now, are you going to tell me what's wrong, Blight Roach?
You're the Blight Roach, not me. I'm something big and terrifying, with spikes and laser eyes.
And deflective powers.
Fine, I'll talk. It's not even a big deal. Lately, I've been trying to get a better handle on my powers. I'm thinking I could maybe steer them in a specific direction. Like, if I wanted to see certain people in particular, people I had a connection to, even at a great distance. I feel like that's something I should be able to figure out.
I can see how that would be good for business.
Yeah, sure. But I was also thinking maybe I could find out what my parents are up to. It's a dumb idea, I know.
It's a good idea. Seeing them might give you some closure.
It's a moot point. I can't seem to zero in on them. That squid vine I ate just showed me some random mer person. Then I started getting all these visions of you, or else random heroes. Funny. In some ways, my powers being useless is the best revenge.
What was the deal with your parents and your powers?
I was the first witch in the family to have any sort of mental magic. Nobody was sure what to make of it. I'd have these fits as a kid. I'd sort of check out mentally. And when I came back to myself again, I'd know all sorts of weird stuff. Stuff about our neighbors, or the male person, or the guy my mother was seeing on the side. It freaked me out. My parents, though, they only heard the clinking of coins. Blackmail, industrial espionage, political spycraft. They had all sorts of ideas. But I couldn't control my abilities well enough. I still can't. My guess is I'll get a glimpse of them when I least expect it. That's just how it seems to work.
That sounds nerve-wracking.
It's not ideal, but what is? At least I'm not alone with it.
Aww.
I was talking about Boxer, obviously.
Sure you were.
You know what? I think you might need to brush his tongue next. I'll just loom behind you and supervise.
Quinn's given up on focusing their powers. But there must be a potion that could help.
Feels good to stretch my wings. I pulled an all-nighter last night. I feel like I've earned an ice cream. That's ice cream with air quotes. I'm lactose intolerant, but I make do.
That's basically just iced coffee at this point.
Ooh, iced coffee sounds delicious. Let's hit the cafe on our way back. But first, I have some news I wanted to share with you. It's big news, and as soon as it happened, all I could think about was telling you all about it. I have this funny feeling that good news will be even sweeter in your company. Sort of like this shaved ice, actually.
I'm all ears.
Well, you know how I've been going door to door to door in my effort to sign up clients? Of course you know that, that's how we met. Anyway, all that legwork paid off. I've got a brand new client. A big one. And this client, they came to me.
Should I be jealous? I'm not sure I want to share you.
Oh, Sylvia, don't worry. You know you're my number one.
I can't tell if we're flirting or if you're trying to reassure me as a client.
Can't it be both? But I can assure you there's been zero flirting with the new client. Beyond that, I can't say much more until it's all official. There's a trial period so they can be sure they like my work before committing to anything. I had to sign an NDA. It was super exciting.
You are getting paid though, right? During this trial period?
Well, no. But the work I'm putting in now will really pay off in the long run.
I trust you know what you're doing. You've been at this for a while now.
Oh, Sylvia, you did look at my CV, didn't you? There's no reason to worry. This client vets the people they work with, same as me. I'm sure I'll pass muster. And bonus, my parents will be so proud.
Do your parents keep up with what you're doing?
Oh, yes. Mom and Pop are very invested in my career. They check in for updates pretty regularly. I think it's hard for them. I'm the first in my family to move away from our hometown. And there's a lot of us. I have 85 siblings.
Wait, really? That's incredible.
It's not so unusual for moths. What's incredible is how accomplished all of them are. Among us, there are a dozen doctors, twice as many lawyers. I get all the updates from my parents. They're really proud of my brothers and sisters.
And of you too, right?
You know, I think they're getting there. Like I said, the distance is hard on them. They worry about me. But when the deal with this client gets announced, oh, Sylvia, they'll be overjoyed.
I'm happy for you, Luna.
Thank you. And like I said, don't worry about a thing. I remain committed to the high level of service you've come to expect from me. In fact, I've got a coupon here, just for you.
A coupon? Wow, you really do get me.
I knew you'd like it. I pride myself on client care, after all.
I hope you can overlook the throbbing vein in my temple, Sylvia. Generally, I'm quite good at keeping my composure when upset, but that vein will betray me every time. Seeing you, of course, is the greatest balm I could ask for. Stay for a spot of tea? I'm brewing some as we speak. Careful, it's hot. It's an interesting variety I found at the marketplace. It was quite inexpensive, and it also varnishes brooms. Sugar helps.
The tea is great. But why don't you tell me what got you upset?
As a matter of fact, I'm just back from seeing Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn can have that effect.
I know they're a friend of yours, so I thought of them when it came time to sell the bits I'd harvested from that forest slime. And would you believe Quinn offered me next to nothing for my goods?
You want me to talk to Quinn? Maybe rough him up a bit for you.
Well, it's kind of you to offer, but I'm not sure you'd win that tussle. Anyway, Quinn isn't the problem. I saw 3 other merchants and they all gave me a similar quote. Low-level monster guts just aren't worth all that much, and they're worth less every day as we gain access to more potent and dangerous reagents. I did the math, Sylvia. A hero would have to bag 30 of these things to afford a single meal.
Well, you're used to pretty exorbitant meals. But I take your point. It's hard work to be a hero.
I knew it was hard work. I knew it was dangerous work. I had naively assumed the compensation would reflect that.
So, heroes don't get any sort of salary?
The guild pays each hero a token stipend. The sum is so small it's mostly a formality. The bulk of a hero's income is meant to come from quest fees and from the loot they sell. That can be lucrative, in theory. Every once in a while, a hero will stumble upon a genuine treasure trove. But statistically speaking, they're twice as likely to be struck by lightning, and 3 times as likely to be implanted with a subcutaneous X-sac. And then, of course, if they do strike gold, the guild always gets a substantial cut.
It sounds like the solution is simple. The smaller the guild's cut, the more gold you're putting in the pockets of the heroes.
If only it were as easy as that. Alas, the Heroes Guild is a for-profit enterprise. It's a machine designed to generate revenue and to put that revenue into the hands of the stakeholders.
Meaning your family.
That's right. They've invested quite a lot to get this chapter up and running. An endeavor such as this, it isn't inexpensive. And they expect to see a significant return on their investment. So far, everything appears to be on track. If the guild is a machine, then it is a very efficient one. Therefore, from the company's point of view, nothing at all is wrong. Everything is working precisely as intended. Voluntarily reducing our profit in order to enrich our contractors? Out of the goodness of our hearts? It simply isn't done. It flies in the face of the company's entire purpose.
But morale is obviously important to you, even if there isn't a line for it on the company ledgers.
That's the truth, and it's the crux of my dilemma. But while I don't yet have any answers, I feel hopeful. After all, it's only after a problem's been identified that it can be resolved. The trick now is simply to find the common ground. That's the best way to ensure everyone comes away satisfied.
I can see how that philosophy could work for me, too.
You're already doing it! After all, you and I come from different worlds. But you have always felt like a kindred spirit.
You're sweet. I like that about you.
I am happy that you enjoy it. And if you like sweetness, perhaps I can get you a bit more sugar for your tea? I notice you haven't touched it, and I feel we should drink it down quickly. Before it melts my good porcelain.
Feels so good to get out of that rowdy guild hall. And since we're in the neighborhood, there's an exhibit on local history that I'm dying to see. How do you feel about a quick museum visit?
I might be distracted by your loveliness, but I'll try to focus on the exhibit.
Gosh, it's nice to get a compliment. Most days, the closest I get is when a monster shows an especially keen interest in devouring me. No legendary weapons here. Everything that the heroes took into battle with Maven was destroyed. But there's one artifact from that battle I never get tired of looking at. It's not far from here. This is more like it! The great outdoors and a big monster corpse! What could be better? That Kraken skull is a cornerstone of this island's history. I assume you know the story?
Yeah, but I'd love to hear your version. After all, you're the hero history buff.
You don't have to ask me twice. It all started with Maven, the so-called Witch Queen. She claimed this island as her own, used it as a sort of free-range laboratory for all sorts of wicked experiments. The first settlers of this very town were her unwilling accomplices. She used her mind control powers to prevent them from leaving. Under her sway, they did all sorts of labor for her. They even constructed that big monument to Maven in the bay. Her reign of terror went on for years before a brave band of heroes decided that enough was enough. They sailed here to liberate the island. Maven summoned a Kraken from the depths, intending to stop them from ever setting foot here. She didn't care who got flattened in the process. The heroes eventually got the best of the monster, but not before it had knocked their ship right out of the water. And to think I'm now living inside that very ship. I'm pretty sure my cot is set up right where Lore Master Lauren used to store his books. I feel so honored by that, and so inspired, and, well, sometimes I feel like an imposter. Like a kid who's playing dress-up.
You should be kinder to yourself.
I know I should. That's why we're here. I just need to connect to this place. I need to feel the history and my place in it.
Feeling better already?
I'm feeling inspired. I'm glad we came here. And I'm glad they left that skull right where it fell. It's a tangible piece of our history. And a reminder of why we need heroes.
Heroes like you.
Ha, I'm not there yet. But I won't give up on my goals. I'm keeping my eye on the prize.
I'm feeling inspired to do the same.
And we better get back to our respective quests. After all, you and I both have great feats to accomplish.
Thanks for tagging along, Sylvia. I'm in the mood to perform some music. And a little help could go a long way.
You mean like backing vocals? Is this my big break?
I've got the singing covered, but I was hoping you could hold a tin can and collect any tips that come in. I would just leave my guitar case open, but it's developed a taste for small change and small dogs. Robin was brave, and though he was tiny, he kicked that old hag direct in her hiney. Well, how'd we do?
I think they liked it.
They always do, which is too bad. Because I hate that song, Sylvia. It is seriously bad.
Wait, really? But it's one of your big hits.
That means it's popular. It doesn't mean it's good. The melody is fine, but the lyrics are juvenile and frankly a bit sexist. The guy who wrote it didn't even get the historical details right. According to Robin's own account, he survived by being well clear of the blast zone. He was just there to carry everybody's gear, and he hid behind a tree during the fight. But I guess that doesn't rhyme with tiny, so...
Wow, you really do hate that song.
Well, I know how the sausage is made. Most of the rah-rah hero ballads are the same. Propaganda masquerading as a history lesson, written by guys who know a lot less about it than they'd like to pretend. But they're crowd pleasers, so what am I gonna do about it?
Stop performing them? Couldn't you take them out of rotation and play the songs you actually like?
Well, as a performer, it's not so much about what I like, is it? If you think about it, you and I, we're both in the business of pleasing other people. And if my audience, my customers, find comfort in the familiar, I can't fault it. A crowded market street just isn't the place to drop a new single. But give people a familiar chorus they can hum along with, and they'll be more receptive to whatever else you have to say.
I can work that angle. I'm just surprised to learn you're so beholden to your audience. I thought you'd have a lot more freedom.
Funny, I thought so too. And listen, I can't complain. I've had a dream career so far. But I'm getting older, and I'm realizing all the little compromises I've made along the way. They have a way of adding up. Do you know I used to write my own stuff? Songwriting is what drew me to this industry to begin with. I spent my preteen years barricaded away in my bedroom, trying to put all my messy adolescent emotions into song.
I bet you were adorable. Little Sid and all her big feelings.
You know, I broke some hearts in my day, but I grew out of that. Mostly. I also wrote some pretty terrible songs, actually. They were honest, though. There's value in that. But then came the managers, and the focus groups, and the ready-made hit machine. And soon I was too busy to put pen to paper. I'm still too busy, even now that I'm on this little sabbatical of mine.
Well, you know what they say. If you wait till you're ready, it'll never happen.
Yeah, you might have a point there. I should at least try to set aside time for writing. Stretch those old muscles, if nothing else. But for now, I've got to swallow my opinions and crank out another popular ballad. Let's fill that tin can with coins, yeah? I know a local soup kitchen in need of more than a few loose coppers.
I shall make a confession, Sylvia, now that we are away. In all my many months spent in Rafta, I have not yet made time to admire its most famous landmark.
Hey, you've been busy, right?
Nay, gentle Sylvia, make no excuses for me. Say instead that we shall rectify this problem. For rectify it we shall, together, this very day, this very moment! Because it is right over there, you see it? Tut, I do not know what to think, Sylvia. I do not know how to feel. My gut is a swirl of indistinct emotions, like fish beneath the ice. On the one flipper, this statue is unquestionably an impressive display of prowess. On the other, it represents an ugly history.
What history is that?
The story goes that this statue was erected by many hands under much duress. They say Maven turned her great mental powers on the people, that she wielded them as tools. And thus, the crux of my confusion. Can I admire the artwork in isolation from the context of its creation?
Yes. Art should be judged independently of the flaws of the artist.
I respect your opinion. I should even like to agree with you, and yet, as artists, it would be the height of hubris to imagine that our creations exist outside of history or politics, or our own biases and agendas. Perhaps it is easier for me to see this as one whose art is literally shaped by the undying presence of previous generations. My art is an expression of where I came from, and who I am now, and how I live in this world. And so, I find I cannot see beauty in a creation that is tainted by such ego and cruelty as this. At best, perhaps I can learn from its technical proficiency. If nothing else, it is impressive in that regard.
You're pretty impressive yourself. I bet you could do better with the right resources.
You flatter me, I think. Yet, you also inspire my competitive spirit. So if you find yourself in possession of 300 tons of granite, I should be happy to try to outdo it. And what a feat that would be, eh? To match its balance of formal elements. To find such an impactful use for anti-gravity enchantments.
Sounds like you could teach a class on this stuff.
I would rather do than teach, and I would much rather outdo than imitate. It is intimidating, however, the thought of creating some great work in a land where it will be compared to this one. Fortunately, I have developed a tough skin for critics. That is necessary in our line of work, is it not? To fortify our egos, to reinforce our very souls against undeserved hostility.
I can take anything they throw at me.
Good! Then let us return now to our own endeavors. I do not like how this statue's eyes seem to follow us.